Happy Friday, everyone. Usual Web Extra, look at the long range. When I did this last week, I said I didn't think we were done seeing snowflakes as of yet, and now you probably see where I was coming from. To answer the question, do I think we're done with our snowflakes yet? A lot of us, yes, but I'm still going to say a few of you still may see some snowflakes before this pattern flips. Speaking of snow, our weekend meteorologist, Christy Shields, added up the April snowfall by decade. So this is a total snowfall, all the Aprils in the 1890s, 1910s. Look at the 1920s. Actually, a lot of that happened in 1928. Major snowstorm. Now, this was State College where they had 18 inches with that. In Altoona, there was over 20 inches of snow. So it snowed in April, and then we went through a little drought during the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and a little closer to now, 60s, a fair amount. And now, remember in the 2010s, we've only been through 5 years, but still, we're behind pace. We're in a little bit of a drought when it comes to April snowfall, though a couple of times in the past 10, 12 years, we've had snowflakes in May. I'm not seeing that this time around. Let me go ahead and take a look at the, I always like starting off with the near term, and during the day on Saturday, we have high pressure moving on now. Most of these clouds Saturday morning high and thin. There is a weak disturbance is going to be passing by to our south, and that will give us a little bit of rain and drizzle, mainly from Route 22 to the south. But it's going to be kind of damp and cool, especially the farther south you are. Later Saturday into early Sunday. Sunday afternoon, that system moves off the coastline. I think everyone has clouds, some sunshine. I doubt there's any more sprinkles by Sunday evening, but on the backside of that system, cool air gets pushed into the region or pulled into the region one more time. Now, here's the GFS anomaly from average, how far it is from average, and this is a forecast for temperatures on Monday. Look at that swath of cool air. So it's going to be cooler than average on Monday, and how cool? Well, this is a surface map on the GFS, and you can see thicknesses below 540. Usually we use that as a guideline where it can be cold enough for snowflakes, but this time of the year you really need to get thicknesses well down in the 530s. Now, that being said, we do have this cyclonic flow. We do have a north and north. When you see the isobars coming straight out of the north, that's a chilly shot. And I can't rule out a lot of us, once again, barely getting through the 40s on Monday. And given this pattern where there's just a little bit of precipitation, there can be some snowflakes on the ridges, but there's not going to be a lot. But I can't say with confidence that everyone's done with their snowflakes until we get out of this pattern, and that's going to be a little bit. Speaking of that, let's take a look. This is the upper air flow, 500 millibars, and the difference from average. Lower than average, trough, cool pool of air above us. On Monday, you see this ridging off to the west and say, hey, is that going to warm us up? No, not quite yet. As this energy bellies underneath, I still think we do have some cool weather and some tricky weather next week. And take a look by Friday, still closed low over the eastern United States, and there are signs of things breaking. Here's where we see that trough building into the west, and they talk about it all the time. For us to warm up, we need a trough in the west and the ridges in the east. Now, I still think we're kind of going to have some trickiness all the way through the next weekend, but look, by May 4th, ridge building in the east, trough in the west. So we're going to turn things around. Now, here's the ensemble, GFS ensemble model run over and over again, and taking the average and actually coming up with the lowest run, the highest run. And the dots in the middle are kind of where the mean is of all the runs. And it shows this cool weather pattern we're going to be in through the next week. And I think this time next week, we're still in the cool pattern, but look what happens after that. Temperatures well above average. I think this is a situation now. It's still early season, so you're going to have cool weather, but I think once this pattern breaks, and I think that happens not until about the 3rd, 4th of May, I think then we start to get back to the shorts weather. All right. Have yourself a great weekend, and tune in tonight for more details on WTAJ News at 11.